able to support you. Well, thank you all so much for coming. I'm so excited to be here and have a good turnout tonight. I'm going to start by whenever you're ready. I'm going to use the stage.
And so what I envision is the light going in the womb.
I always just like to start by clearing the energy with some sage, and I just like to say a special sage smudging prayers to honor the plant before we begin. So you can go ahead and close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that, but if not, that's totally fine. Just like gently gaze down on the floor is fine too. Thank you, Creator, Mother Earth, and Sage Spirit for this beautiful healing tool. Please help us use this now to clear our energy field of any old, stale, negative energies, making way for new, fresh energies of positivity, love, light, peace, joy, unity, oneness, harmony, healing, gratitude, abundance, and prosperity. And anything else that you need. Now. So just taking some nice deep breaths and just feeling the old energies just drifting away now. Anything that's ready to leave your field, feel it leaving you now. Releasing anything that's no longer needed. So you can keep your eyes closed or gently gaze down to the floor and bringing your hands into any comfortable position in the lap. Palms facing down is good for grounding. Palms facing up is good for receiving energy or in any mudra position that you like. And we'll just take a few deep breaths here just to ground and center together before we open the circle. We'll begin by exhaling all of our air out. Taking a deep breath in. Opening the mouth. Two more. Deep inhale. Longer. Just tuning in with yourself wherever you're at on this spiritual entrepreneurial journey. And just tonight bringing to mind the idea of self-promotion. And how does it feel for you when I say that? How does it feel in your body? Do you notice any tightness, heaviness anywhere? Any energy feeling stuck or blocked? Or maybe you feel totally open and that sounds really exciting. So just noticing without any judgment, whatever's coming up for you around the idea of self-promotion. Not labeling anything good or bad, just noticing how it feels for you. Bring the palms together to rub now. Stimulating some energy movement in the body. Feeling that heat. Bringing the palms to stillness in front of the heart center. Taking another deep breath into the heart. And then the hands just down in the lap. Just open the eyes whenever you're ready. So we'll use this as our topic of discussion tonight before we dive into hearing about AMATA's story. And yeah, so you can share whatever came up for you during that little mini meditation and any thoughts that you had, feelings that you had, those sensations in your body, and mentioning that. So yeah, we need to do with our sure. That's what we're doing, right? I know. So there's our little picture. Would anybody like to volunteer to go first? Go first.
I have a lot of freedom in that space because I had it mirrored back to me that you know, in my outer world that somebody wasn't advocating for me, that somebody wasn't my advocate. And I knew that that was something that was going on internally. So I dove into an inner child healing that I practiced. And about me not being my biggest advocate, or it was something that was worded a different way, but one of the things was to advocate for myself. And so now I feel like I'm at the point where I kind of get excited about it, because if I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it? You know? So that's where I'm at. So I got excited.
I had lots of feelings in my body. I didn't really get any messages, which is weird, but I felt like energy like swirling in my root, and then kind of like a pain on the side. And so I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I felt it like go up this side and like kind of get stuck in my throat. Mm-hmm. And so I've been doing throat chakra work for like years, and like speaking up and putting myself out there and not worrying about judgment and like being judged and all that. So I know that that's the message, like what it's associated with. But yeah, I just got the feeling in my body.
I'd like to add too that the wounds directly connected in the throat. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if everyone knew that, but yeah, and that's why when we have trauma in that area, and it's interesting that that's what we're doing tonight, but when we have trauma in that area, that's why this gets blocked. Wow. Yeah. And they look the same, the yoni and the larynx oral. They look the same. Yeah.
When you're in labor, they tell you to relax your jaw, which opens you up.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, they say if you relax your jaw, it like relaxes down there and opens. So it is connected, but I know about that. Yeah.
I felt excited and like calm during that, and I'm doing my next vintage market on the 11th, and so what were you saying? Being like self-promoting, and I'm like, that doesn't scare me, that makes sense. And like I want people to know who I am and my business and my story of why I started it. And it's interesting because the 1-year anniversary of my sister passing is the 10th. And my things get the day after. Oh, beautiful. So I'm like excited to keep doing this like for us, for her.
Yeah. So I felt open and calm and clear and excited, but at the same time, that old voice. And then the womb trauma and the voice opening. I have womb trauma. I had a really traumatic birth. My first birth was really traumatic, and I wasn't dilating. And so it's just something. I had enough birth for one lifetime. I had 2 babies after since, and then just had C-sections and no break. I didn't even think twice. I was like, yes, I'm C-section both times. So there's that I had the option to revisit that experience in that womb trauma twice, giving birth 2 more times. And it's like, oh, hell no. And so at some point, you know, at some time, I'll explore that, or that'll come up again. And I don't know if there's an association with where I'm at and how far I've come, and now that I'm ready to advocate for myself and to bring myself out there, and I have an offering and I'm ready, but there's still like that little feeling of, no. So interesting. So thanks.
So I'm Candace, and you know, I've been working on self-promotion for like a decade now, and actually 15 years now. And it's been a journey. I remember before I would get so, I feel so much when I would think about putting myself out there. And over the years of just like putting myself through discomfort, creating content, putting myself out there, not being happy with it, but sitting through it, talking through it, shifting things. It's interesting. I think now I finally do actually feel very good about promoting myself and putting myself out there. Actually, I did a live today on Instagram this morning, and I'm very proud of myself because I was like, no, it's not my first one, but it's the first time where I didn't overthink it. Right? I was just like, put a couple pillows up, I grabbed a ladder, I just did it. You know, I didn't overthink it in the past. If I don't know, what am I going to tap on? What am I going to do? And I think about it. I do 3 or 4 videos. I choose the best video. You know, like spend half a day on putting like one thing, and it's just like, oh, God, you got to get out of your head about it. And it's taken me a long time to get into I just come into more my body, my heart, and so it was really nice just sitting in the openness. And I was just like, I didn't really feel a whole lot except just this expanded energy, which was really nice. And just sitting here, I was like, oh, wow, I'm not like warming up. I'm not want to curl up into a little ball like I normally do. And so that felt really good. Just being able to observe like the transformation of all the work that I have been doing leading into releasing my money blocks and releasing my blocks about being seen and heard. But there's one little hiccup that does come up that I'm working on and I'm addressing right now, and that's just my body image of my weight, because I feel like I gained a lot of weight, and then I was hoping to lose it after my separation, and I didn't, and I lost it in the beginning, but then after the holidays, I think all came back on, and so just really working on trying to like get my image like where I want it to be, and but also just accepting my body where it's. But just also knowing I just want healthier too. So it's just one of those things, right? I want to be able to like just really honor my body. And so that came up. That was my little, I felt really good and expanded. But there's just that little part that was like, okay, you're just going to continue to honor your body and continue to just honor where you're at.
Yeah, I initially, it's like different when I'm, you know, the one leading it. I feel like I have a different experience, whereas if I was receiving else leading it, it would be different, but I am still able to. But I felt a heaviness in my chest like when I first said that. Yeah, so my heart still has something hurting in there. I've done a lot of healing around this, and I'm excited to hear that all of you are like feeling really close to close and really feeling really great all around. It seemed like that's really inspiring. Yeah, it's exciting to me too, because I feel like I have, you know, things I want to share with people. And so, but like specifically like social media, it's a lot easier for me to talk to somebody one-on-one about what I'm doing and like feel really good about that and not, you know, but there's something, I have like a huge like social media thing that I don't want to get into the story right now because there's a whole thing that I'm working on too of like just not repeating that story over and over again, like because then it just brings you back into that like feeling and then you're like recreating that energy. So trying to figure out how to like talk about it in a way that's not going so deep that I'm like feeling that again. But yeah, just something happened and it really hurt me in my heart, I guess. And so that's where I become afraid to like go on there and like show who I really am. There's a lot of like yeah, just fear of judgment, fear of saying what I'm actually doing and what I'm thinking to specifically people who knew me a long time ago. Anyway, like, who cares? Like high school, I don't even talk to any of those people anymore. But it's a weird, like psychological thing. But also there's something to be said about like because there's an energetic connection, even if I don't talk to them, like everybody that sees whatever I post, and this is for everybody, like everybody that sees everything that you post, like has some feeling about it, you know, whatever it is, and that energy is sent to you, you know. So like you're feeling that even whether you realize it or not. And so I'm trying to create like an energetic boundary between myself and anybody who's like viewing me on social media. Whenever I'm posting, I'm trying to be more like conscious of that, to be like, okay, like this, like whatever anybody thinks about me doesn't like affect me, you know. So that's been an interesting thing, but yeah. So I guess I'm still working on that. But yeah, it is exciting to because I have a lot of inspiration about things to share and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm more comfortable talking to people in person for sure. But yeah. Cool. And then I realized too that we should also go around and introduce ourselves and say, I just, you know, a lot of the people that have been kind of know each other, but there's some new people here tonight. So let's just do a quick little like, what's your name? What is the thing that you do? Yeah.
I'm AMATA. I'm a quantum energy healer. And what else?
That was all good.
We'll hear more about it later. I didn't say this part because like I'm 47, so I've been doing this for a really, really, really long time. And it's been like a crazy path that like I used to have a massage office on the plaza and I moved away from that and wanted to go more into energy healing because I'm getting older and I was getting like crippled. So then I took Reiki and then that led to other things like quantum energy healing and I do all kinds of crazy stuff. I do past life regressions. I work with crystal skulls. I actually brought 2 with me, but I was late, so I didn't get them all across. But I talk to like otherworldly beings and other dimensional beings through the skulls. That's a long story. And crystal. Yeah, I do crystalline DNA activation. And I think it's funny, like I feel like we're all kind of on this. Did you guys feel this shift into June 1st?
Yeah.
It was so big. I had this one. It was so huge. And I did a crystalline DNA activation on myself the night before. And yesterday, I finally spent all day. I made my link tree because the technology really frustrates me and then I give up. So I made the link tree, I made all the links, I did everything. I set up a calendar lead to make appointments and stuff because my website is just taking forever and frustrating me. And so I was able to do all that to where now I can make appointments, they can book appointments, I can do. And I was just blown away, like, what the heck happened in that one day? And I'm like, oh, it's June. But then I did the crystalline healing, and I was like, but yeah, I'm hearing that everyone felt that. I love it. Whatever's going on, I'm here for it. And my name's Yamuna. I don't know if I said that.
I'm Tilly. and I have a vintage business. I sell old, used kitchenware and house decor and clothes. And I just want to keep their story going, and I'm going through.
About how you started.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I've been collecting vintage for a while. I used it myself. Like I just feel like I'm like a little old man in this body. And so my sister, my older sister, did it too, and we've not lived in the same city for a long time. But then I moved back to Sacramento. She got sick with cancer, and we were gonna like start our business or like do one of those little pop-ups, consignment somewhere. And then when I moved here, I'm like, why don't we just set up an Etsy? You ship out of Sacramento, I'll ship out of Eureka. We didn't get around to it. The cancer kept coming back, and she passed away last summer. And I got laid off from, like, I work in the wine industry, and I got laid off, which was kind of like a sign of pushing me out, like I didn't want to be there. And so I was like, I just need to do this. I have to like start this business. And so I did. And now I'm doing the Redwood retro markets, which are once a month, and more. I mean, I'm in a group on Instagram with like a bunch of other like makers and entrepreneurs, and so we're always looking for vendor events. They always post them in there, so I have a lot of opportunities. I'm just choosing which ones I want to be a part of. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. Eventually I want my own.
Oh, wonderful. And then the business name.
Oh yes, and I named business Lacey's Attic. My sister's name is Lacey, and in their house that she designed and they had built, the third story was their craft, like her craft room. And when I was like, I don't know what the name should be, my boyfriend actually is the one that was like, because I showed him Thanksgiving the area, like where all of our stuff was, and he was like, call it Lacey's Attic.
Oh, that's
so
beautiful.
That's it.
I love that name.
For sure.
Okay, maybe I have a little struggle with myself.
Still be excited about it. Still
Thank you.
I'm Marjorie, and I have Herbalife Tonics. It's I'm an herbalist, a quantum herbalist, so it's like I'm in the right place. So I work with ormus and essential oils and herbs and plant spirit medicine. It's sort of the foundation and the devas and the elementals. And so I've been working this for a very long time. It's just been my life's accumulation, my life's work. And so I recently got a Kajabi website and transferred my website into Kajabi for a platform, classes that want to be taught, DNA activation, reprogramming. It really goes into DNA reprogramming and just how the support, you know, from the ormus and superconductive minerals support the light body and ascension. So I'm kind of an ascension coach, sort of in a way, but I not really coach, you know, but I don't really know. So yeah, working on self-promotion and how to talk about what I do, because I always forget. It's like the quantum part of it, and putting like my life's work in this linear platform has been challenging. And so yeah, you know, I'm here to get support and to see how you all are doing it, and right,
resonating with all.
I'm just so happy to be here and to have the support, you know, the sisterhood, and it really does mean a lot. Yeah. So, thank you.
Beautiful. I'm Candace. I'm also an herbalist and love, my focus is medicine too. And for me, it's all about energy. So I've just spent my life studying everything I could about energy and healing and nourishment. And after immersing myself in herbalism and as a teacher and practitioner as well for many years, I got redirected into, after I had my little one, I got redirected into teaching Tai Chi and Qigong, and it was just something that was kind of handed to me on a silver platter, and I took it and I ran with it, and I absolutely just love what it did for my own personal practice, and it was kind of my gift to the community as well. And this is not a money maker, I have to say, and it could be. I'm working on it actually. It's interesting. The more I release some blocks, the more I'm finding it working more and more for me. But it's one of these things that when I compare teaching Tai Chi and Qigong to the other thing that I do, which is EFT tapping, it's a big discrepancy, you know, what I made for the energy I put into it. But I love it so much. And so I just always look at it as a gift, and I get to receive so much being able to, one, have it be part of my practice, and then two, just see the shifts that I see in my students. And so that is just wonderful for me. But where I'm really directing a lot of my energy into as far as self-promotion goes, and for me, it's finding the balance because I do so many different things. So it's like, I have to allocate time to promoting classes and making flyers. That's what I'm pick up on right now. I'm trying to finish what I swear I sat down 4 times to finish this flyer, and I cannot finish this flyer. So like that for me is like a self-promotion. It's like for me, it's like I want to share my gifts. I don't want to get caught up in putting together the materials, but anytime I hire out, I'm just not satisfied, right? Or it takes 4 times as long to get it done. Or, you know, so it's one of these things where, you know, I'm really learning how to just be okay doing it myself, and having that grace and compassion to allow it to unfold naturally when it's supposed to unfold. I do astrology, so for me, a lot of times I'm just like trying to line it up with astrology. Like, hey, this is a good thing where I can be at the computer. Let's do that. Let's schedule that in to be at the computer. Say, oh, moon is going to Taurus gate, go to the bottom. It's not going to work. Finding that balance of just grace and compassion through the self-promotion, of finding the balance of promoting classes and promoting myself as a coach too, because sometimes promotion is different when you're promoting different things that you do, right? And so finding that balance, okay, I also have to promote myself as a coach and these packages that I do and when I do this tapping. And so for me, sometimes it's about not being overwhelmed. And because if I'm overwhelmed, then how is the person going to be receiving what I do, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember when I used to get overwhelmed, and I would talk to people about what I do, and they'd be like, well, Candace, I'm so overwhelmed about what you do, I don't even know where to start. And so it made me realize that the more that I just kind of slow down and be okay, and just know like, okay, when this flyer's done, it'll be done. I'll get this package sold, it'll be fine. And sure enough, like the money comes in when it needs to come in, and all the bills get paid to them when they need to get paid. And I'm noticing that most people are like, okay, that's what you do. You do all these really cool things, right? I'm not hearing so much about for women what you do. Where do I start? So there's just something very different now where I'm finding that balance. But I've been able to find that balance just through grace, just being okay and acceptance. And also my big thing that I've been learning a lot is really truly receiving on that quantum cellular level. And that's been a big, profound shift in the last couple of months too. And I've talked about that quite a bit, so I'm not gonna talk about that now. But that was a really big piece for me too. Once I was able to get to that level, like everything in the business, even though it's not exactly where I feel like it should be at, it's all unfolding exactly the way it needs to be right now.
Yes. Surrender. Yeah. Just the flow and get trapped. I'm with you. Also dealing with that too. Yeah. Another thing that I remembered when you were sharing about self-promotion that I wanted to mention is like the specifically just like being a spiritual entrepreneur and promoting yourself. I don't know, for me, if I wonder if this is something that you guys are feeling also, that it's been like a relationship that I'm having to form with myself, I guess, to figure out what it looks like for me to share authentically, because there's this whole Instagram crazy thing where it's like, if you don't post all the time and do all the things, it's like it doesn't like you or something. But I'm like, I don't want to force myself to post every day because I feel like I have to. Like that doesn't feel right to me. There's also like, it's just I think I'm realizing that there's like this 3D like business model, this way that you can do these, you know, very masculine oriented things and check all the boxes and do all the things, but it's like I'm at a different place than that. I feel like it's like I'm learning that I'm developing this more 5D, this more higher level way of like thinking about that. Like it's like, because that doesn't feel good in my heart to like sell things to people. Like I don't like being sold to. I'm not trying to like sell stuff. I'm like, I just want to talk about what I do, and if people like it, they'll want to do that, you know. I don't know. So it's like, yeah. I feel like this is like that support group that, you know, we're creating. It's like this different way of thinking about business. Like how do we move out of the old ways that don't feel good in your heart, you know? And it's really interesting because this business, I'm also co-owner of this business. This is like a 5D business. Like we didn't start as a business, by the way. It's actually interesting, but like we weren't like, we're going to start a yoga studio, you know, we just kind of, it just happened. But we've noticed that because we're trying to be a business, that the other like businesses that are similar to us in this area see us as like competition, and we're like, we don't like, that's not I don't feel that way. Like I feel like people are going to go where they're going to go because they like the energy of that place. It's not, I don't know. So I'm just realizing there's this different way that we're trying to operate, and it's like, I wish everybody felt that way because there is no need for competition. I just made a post on our Instagram for this. I really enjoy having an Instagram for this group because it's allowing me this different way to express. But anyway, like, yeah, there's no need for competition. Like, we don't have to be like, oh, that person's in massage therapist. Like, I can't like share my time with them. Like, you go to the same thing. Like, no, you're gonna like, you guys could do the same thing and you would both attract different people because people resonate with different people for different reasons. And you know, I don't know, it's just two people could say the same thing even, and somebody might hear it differently out of your mouth versus your mouth, like because of the, you know, just your energy. Anyway, I can talk all day, but what was I even talking about? I was talking about the like self-promotion and the promoting on social media, like making it not a chore. It's like when it becomes like a to-do list item, like it doesn't feel good. I'm like, I just want to post when I want to post because I feel like I want to post something. So that's been an interesting journey. Yeah, and then I'm like, but then my mind gets all busy. I'm like, I'm not going to post. Is it like blocking like something that like should I want to post? And I know because I have some blockage out of it. Anyway, we'll see what happens. As things just evolve naturally. When I feel like I want to do that. But yeah.
Just avoid the void of personage. Nothing gets done. They're trying to say if anyone's not working, why should we?
Because I like that.
That's my self-care.
Sorry. Well, this is really special to have new people joining this group because it's such a special thing when we can all come together and really like see each other and feel each other and hear each other, because it's just, I've been leading women's circles of a different kind for a few years now, and anytime women are together in a circle, it's such a healing experience for everybody for different reasons. And we just, when we share about what we're doing, there's this special mirroring that happens when everyone is sitting smiling at you and they're feeling this love in their heart for whatever you're saying, and it's just so, it's such a like healing thing. So I'm so glad that you're all here, and it's really exciting to be growing this group. And another special aspect of this group is sharing women and giving them a spotlight to be seen under, and heard under and giving them a space to talk about more in more detail about what they do. And the idea is to kind of get to know people more deeply and kind of where they came from, if they want to share about that. And because I think it's really special to hear about not only what are you doing now, but like, how did you get here? How did you get to this point that you're sharing, you know, soul readings and all of that? Like, that's so fascinating, but like, you know, it's just, there's so much to talk about, but yeah, so that's another part of this group. So Amata is our featured woman tonight, and she's going to be sharing a little bit more in depth about as much as she wants to about her story and her background and what led her to this quantum energy healing, and she'll be sharing some special information with us. And yeah, so take it away. Thanks. So I will.
Amelia really wants to hear about my whole story, so I'm kind of run through as much as So I was always a quiet little girl. I always internalized everything. I started from being in my mother's womb to age 3. I experienced abandonment and being overlooked by the masculine energy. And so I feel like I internalized a lot. I've always been really connected to spirit, and I've always resided in the ethers. I was a daydreamer. And adults would always come over and, you know, go do something, you know, do something real, go play, or go figure something out, you know. And when I was really astral traveling, and that's how I astral travel during the day. I think I mentioned it before in one of our meetings that I don't do it at night in my dreams. I feel like those are just messages for me. I feel like I'm very grounded in my dreams, but into 3D, but during the day, I always have to bring myself back to the present moment to have a conversation and to express myself. It's really been a challenge for me over the years. I'm getting to a really beautiful spot with that. So as a child, I remember being 4 and being at my father's house, and you know, there was this little bush 2 doors down, and it had a little cave, you know, within it. And I remember going into that cave and just disappearing. And I remember my grandfather ancestor with me, and I wasn't reintroduced to him until I think last year or the year before. But I remember him always with me. And so I really did reside with the spirits and within myself. And so at about 8 or 9, I had some sexual abuse happen. And that really made me internalize everything. And I was quiet, I was indifferent about myself. I didn't feel love or hate for myself. And which I thought, not even hate, that's crazy to me. And that was just a mind-blowing epiphany that I had when I discovered that. And I think it was within the last year. In any case, then I later, so about 12 years old, I had my first spiritual awakening. I was lighting things, I was, you know, burning herbs. I was doing all this stuff in my room. I didn't even know what I was doing. I guess I did, but you know, I just did it intuitively. And that was the first time I remember just really doing things intuitively, taking action. After that, I got into drugs pretty heavy. I started using that for, I think it lasted 10 years, and at age 14, 15. And the point was, is I didn't want to sleep, and I was running away from my trauma. I sped up my mind enough, I could just be off on my way, you know? And then at 20, I quit, and I had a good year and a half before I got pregnant with my first son. That was beautiful. Me and his father were not compatible at all, but he was excited about a child, and so was I. And then he ended up going to jail, chose to go to prison for a shorter time, so we were farther away, but then I started using again because I thought that I could lose weight faster. And so then I went into this big whirlwind. Fast forward to him being 3.5 years old, I got with my second son's father. It was a healthy relationship. It was good. He wasn't very expressive and didn't support me emotionally like I needed. But we were a little family and we were doing great. And sorry, my brain. I need to rewind just a little bit. My father had passed in 2006, and where I'm talking about when my son was about 2. And what I'm talking about now is fast forward to 2009, my oldest son's father passed away. He was murdered in Louisville. And that was really hard for me. My partner didn't know why I was grieving so badly. And Ezra, my first son's father that passed, he was the only one there for me when my father had passed. So it was a lot of, and you know, all these father wounds were not healed. So they were placed on all these men in my life that were dropping, you know. Well, then fast forward a year and a half later into 2010, it was August 13th, Friday the 13th, and the love of my life at that time passed. He was on the hill watering, and he got bucked off. He was jumping down this 10-foot embankment that he jumped down a million times before, but it was 110 degrees out there in Dennis Farm. No helmet, no gear, no nothing, and the bike bucked him off because a bolt got stuck in the gear. It bucked him off and landed on top of him, and he asphyxiated. So I experienced these 3 men, my rocks, my, you know, all of my masculine foundation. Well, 3/4 of it. I have a stepdad that's really wonderful, but these are the ones that the life really had emphasis on, these men. And so 3/4 of my male foundation was just ripped away from me. And it was the lowest point in my life. It was really hard. And it sparked the beginning of my awakening, my real awakening as a healer. And so I wouldn't be the person that I am today had this not happened. And so around the time that I had my first son, I went through another spiritual awakening around 20. But this was the big one. I was 28. All 3 of them had passed. We had to move out of our home because it was like $1,900 a month. And I didn't have a plan B when he passed. I didn't have a plan B when he passed. And so I moved out to Freshwater in this cute little house. And I remember I'm in the shower and I just feel my hands start to light up. And I'm like, what is this? And then I just go, you know, and I'm pushing all my energy out into the world. And I'm like, I feel like I'm healing the whole world. And then when I stopped, I was drained. I didn't know what was happening. And then later to find out, I was using my own energy. I wasn't using sources energy. I was using my own energy. I just didn't know what it was. So I was just projecting it outward. And I signed up for Pepper Hernandez's class for holistic healing. I don't know if you guys know who she is. And that came at I was planning on being a special effects makeup artist. And Spirit just picked me up and was like, nope, and put me on that path. And so that's another story. It'll take a little time though, but so I'm in Pepper's class and we do a series of different things, you know, and then when we got to the Reiki portion, the Reiki class was 1 week, and I discovered that, okay, it's Reiki energy. Okay, that's what it is. But it just seemed so fast. It seemed intuitive. It seemed inherent, like it was just, it's a gift, you know. It seemed like something about my hands was very freaking special. And I got reflected back that too, because everyone was so excited for me to try on them, And so, fast forward to 2018, I was getting a pull to move down to Monterey, and my aunt had just moved down there with her husband that she reconnected with. And she said, come stay with us, and you and the boys can come stay with us, and then you can get your own place. And I said, okay, that sounds good. Let me think about it. Let me figure it out. But I went to go visit her for a week in August 2018 to see if that was going to be something that I wanted to do. And before I went, I said, okay, give me a sign, show me that this is what I'm supposed to do, because I don't want to give up I had a cute 3-bedroom house and everything was fine, except for I was stuck in the hamster wheel of finances, just scraping by, but I had a 3-bedroom house, And so I'm at home one night and I'm doing laundry and I feel something pick me up from under my arms, and I know it's God, I know it's source. And I felt like I didn't have legs. I felt like I didn't have legs at that time. My body wasn't heavy at all. And I was just having this full-on conversation, this telepathic conversation. And I forget what I said, but it was like a beautiful conversation with like a father figure. That's what it felt like, or a parental figure, not masculine or feminine. And after the conversation, I go, okay, we're cool now, right? I don't gotta move. I heard spirit laugh at me out loud. And I was like, I'm walked 3 steps back into the house, into my kitchen, and the stove is right there. And all of a sudden, I felt this bzz, like through my whole body, and I felt like my hands were electricity. They were electricity. And I was feeling my legs, and I go, oh my gosh, I can use this for satellite treatment. It's shocking my whole, like. And then I go, boys, come here. And I said, put out your arm. And I would go like this down their arm, and wherever my hands would be, their hair would stand up. And then after I passed, their hair would sit down. And then they were all excited. They were really young. They were all excited about it. But then they went and played. But I was sitting there with this huge gift that just came in, and it was just so beautiful, and I felt so honored, and at the same time scared, because I don't know what to do with it. What do I do with this? How can I feel okay sharing this? Are people going to believe me? Like, all these things came through my head, all these doubts, like all the doubts and all the good, all the bad, and everything. I'm like, okay. At that moment, I'm like, we're moving. Went down to Monterey. I was going through this really intense breakup or separation from someone in my life that I can consider my counterpart. And it has mirrored back to me a lot of very intense things about my shadow and things to fix within myself, or things that point me back to myself and bring myself home. But besides all that, right when I moved down there, I had this big separation. I was depressed for the majority of the time I was down there. I was down there for 8 months. Working with disabled adults, which is my sister's Down syndrome. So I've had a lot of experience with that, but it's part of my heart. So if they paid more, I would definitely do it a lot more than I did, but the finances just weren't there. But in any case, I did have a client down there. It was the girl, I bought a car, and the girl that filled out all the financial stuff, she had a daughter that had trichotillomania, like pulling out. She had and I worked on her for a good 6 months while I was down there. And by the time I left in June of 2019, she had 2 inches of hair grow back because I worked on the neurotransmitters, because trichotillomania is more in the mind than it is in the hair or in the follicle. And so that was the beginning of me knowing that I had something special, that I was doing something that was meant for something. For the longest time, I had and since I was down in Monterey, I remember having visions of me on stage, like side stage. I'm not an entertainer by any means, but not just because I'm mostly introverted, but also because when I'm in my work, I'm in my work, and it's hard to focus, or it's like patting your head and rubbing your belly. You know, it's hard to do entertain and speak while I'm healing. So when I'm healing, my focus is going to be that. But I see me on stage with thousands of people, farther than the eye could see, and I'm healing the crowd while this person is either speaking or a spiritual entertainer of some sort, music, public speaker, or meditation or something like that. But I've gotten visions of that since I was in Monterey. I moved back to Humboldt, and then I had to take the steps. I lived with my mom for a little bit, and I lived in a 1-bedroom, and now I'm in a 2-bedroom, and then my older son's moving out, so now all we need is a 2-bedroom. But when I was in Monterey, also I did a healing on her. It was actually my first healing before I even did the little girl, and she experienced her angelic self for the first time, which was really beautiful. And that's the archetype that I feel that I am, is angelic. And so, well, I know I am. So, I was going to say how it works. Okay, how it works is every physical block starts as an energetic block, no matter how it manifests. And so, for instance, I hurt my shoulder in a car accident, but for a long time before the car accident, the energetic block was building and it hadn't been addressed. So then it manifests somehow, some way in the 3D, and then gave me a physical block. And what it is it's stored emotions. So energy in motion, you know, stagnant energy in motion in your body. And so what I do is I go in with the most beautiful golden white light, and I blast those parts of the body. And I not only get the energy moving, it can prevent physical blocks from happening, or it can heal physical blocks. It can clear out the body of any darkness, negative energy attachments. It's DNA regenerative, and a lot of the work that I do is a lot like energetic surgery. So I'll work with the actual organs that those emotions are stuck in, and what it looks like to me is I take the organ out and I clear whatever stagnant energy is in there. Sometimes it looks like fog. Sometimes it looks like a hard shell on the outside that I have to remove. Sometimes it looks like tar, and it just depends on, you know, the person, the energy, everything. So I clear that out, and then I blast it with this golden white light to where it looks like, to where I'm like squeezing it, and it's liquid. The golden white light is liquid, so it gets to the point where I'm like squeezing it, and it looks like a sponge just oozing out, just full cup. And then I place it back in the body, and then I seal it back up. And all of this just came intuitively. So it was inherent. I also do, aside from that, I also help with trigger healings. So the outside world shows us exactly what's going on the inside world. And this exercise came to me last year. I started it in September, and I figured if I knock out all my triggers this way, I'll be done in about a year. So, yeah, any trigger that we have in the outside world, especially with people, social triggers, is something that's going on within. So if we're like that person abandoned us, somewhere within us, we abandon ourselves. And I help people address that and bring it to resolution so that trigger will not bother you again. There is a little bit of adjustment period. You'll be tested, you know, someone will come and it'll seem like you'll have the awareness that, okay, I used to probably take that like that person's abandoning me, but they're just going through something. And then you'll have a different perception on it. You'll show up in a different way, which will cause a different reaction from the people in your outside world. I work on those too. And then in a much larger capacity, the crowd healing, which I believe that I'm going to start with retreats. I'm going to do that, but I see me on a big stage at big events, such as, let's say, the Envision Festival or something like that, which it's a big thing, but I'm becoming more and more open to it as time goes on, because I know I can do it. Okay, that's my gift.
You want me to share your healing?
Sure.
Really?
Sure. Yeah.
So I had like a full lipo, and I was in another country. I had surgery, and she agreed to do a healing on me. And so I just relaxed, like she was here. And all of a sudden I was aware of, it was like, I could see this bright light in the room with my eyes closed, where I opened them to look like, what is going on? And there was a huge angel. It was so big, it was like bent over, like taking up the whole room. And I was like, oh my God, an angel came to heal me. And I'm an angel. And then I had the realization that it was me, that it was my higher self, it was me. And that like changed my whole life. Like everything changed from then. Yeah. And the next day after the healing, so before the healing, I couldn't get up out of the chair by myself. I couldn't wash myself. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. Nothing. I was completely weighted on hand and foot. The next morning, I got up, I took my stuff off, I changed, I bathed, and everyone was like, they were literally calling nurses and like, hey, look at her. Like they had never seen anything like that before. And my massage therapist was like, what did you do? Like, what is going on? And I'm like, my friend healed me from America. And she's like, she was so like shook by what she saw that she went into it, because all we had for a name was at the time was Reiki. And so she actually went and got certified in Reiki after seeing my healing, because it literally changed like everyone's life that saw it. And yeah, like she's so powerful.
My friend has this daughter that has a catheter, and sometimes it pops out, and she has to take her down to the Bay Area to get it put back in. And a couple times she tried to put it back in, but she also had me doing healing on her, but it was, we noticed that it was closing up more and more, that it was closing up too fast. So I couldn't do any healings on her while she had the catheter out, because they couldn't get it back in. But yes, it's distance, it's in person, or from wherever I'm at to anywhere in the world. And my guides told me it was quantum energy healing. And then I've been guided to the womb, because they say what is it? The root of your deepest pain is the seed to your greatest strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of struggles with the womb, and I've brought it back from, I used to feel like my womb was a rock, like a pit, like heavy. And over time, I know it's not there anymore. You know, it's more light.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can give an opportunity for anybody to ask any questions if they have any.
Sure.
So far.
And then I have a little exercise we can do.
That's so exciting. I just thank you for sharing your story. It was amazing to hear just the profoundness of your gift and to see where you came from. That's why it's so beautiful to hear master it, because like the like I just believe like the darker your
darker the shadow, the brighter the light.
There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. That's amazing. Yeah, does anybody have any questions or anything to reflect to her? If not, I'm excited. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I have a lot of
yeah. And then we can work on triggers too. And when I draw a name, we can work on triggers too. Get my words straight. My plan is to do a trigger healing and then an energy healing. For the free, yeah. And with Canvas too, because we're going to trade. So, is that what you're doing tonight? Oh no,
not tonight. Although we should maybe schedule out.
yeah, we can.
Stop talking about it.
So, is anybody familiar with the Yoni Mudra? Yes, because I'm new to it, but I did some research, and every time I do it, it feels amazing. And so it says it's dedicated to Shakti, evokes the womb's female creative power, helps with everything womb related, said to calm and strengthen the nervous system, but those with a lot of stress and anxiety should use caution. And 20 to 30 minutes every morning could make a significant difference. And when I read that, I'm going to start doing it. So, I want to introduce the right of the womb. Is anybody familiar with that? So there's a lineage of women that freed themselves from suffering. This lineage of women want us to know the womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. A woman named Marcela Lobos channeled this lineage of women through a dream. She was given this transmission to offer initiation and their message of the 13th rite of the Munich key to all women. It's called the rite of the womb. And so I figured we could, I'm going to shake the rattle. I'm going to go around and shake the rattle. And I figured we could do the mudra and say this 3 times to get used to it. And then we'll give each of you the transmission. Does that work? Okay, it's the womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. And so it's like this. There's different ways of doing it, but the 3 fingers back here, I do right over left. I believe that's how it goes, but then you put your pointer fingers together and this, so it looks like a womb. And I want to start with regrounding or bringing balance to the yin and yang of spirit and Mother Earth. And so as we breathe in, we'll bring in the light of Mother Earth and the light of spirit coming, light of spirit through our crown and the light of Mother Earth through our root, and bring them to our belly button and let them do a yin yang. And then when we breathe out, they go back to where they came from. Wait, okay. So the light coming down from spirit and light coming up from Mother Earth, and do a yin yang around your belly button space, and then back when you breathe out. So breathe in, breathe out. And we'll just do 3 breaths. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain.
The womb is to create and give birth to life. One more time. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. And everyone else can meditate or whatever you want to do while I give the transition. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. On transmitting it. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear or pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. Oh. So I summon the lineage, then I activate myself, and I transmit to you, and then you accept, okay? The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. Beautiful. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. It's not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. Beautiful. Yeah. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain. The womb is to create and give birth to life. The womb is not a place to store fear and pain.
The womb is to create and give birth to life.
Beautiful.
You're
welcome. So you want to share this with as many women as possible, as long as soon as you feel ready. And you can, I wrote the instructions down. So you can also look it up under marcellalobos.com or look up the Rite of the Womb. But these are the instructions, and all women can give it to all women. Yeah. So I thought that was a beautiful on-topic thing to share. And that's my story. That's it. I did it.
Oh, right there, I love the time at the edge of my seat.
Oh, good. Because Amelia knows I'm kind of come out of the shop in this, but I'm here. But it's such, I'm so honored, and we were talking that it's such a beautiful space and place to come out to start this journey of being out and being seen and being loved. So thank you so much for listening. And if anybody wants to look at this too, this is my friend Nicole brought that from Egypt. It's alabaster. She might have watched this at some point. She's still here. And so I'm going to do a little drawing. If there's Candace, I'll do too.
You'll get your tap from there.
On the mouth and her eyes,
Or
yeah, the ears.
It is Candace, but Billy. Okay, so we'll do a wound healing on you. And I'm open to trades. They're just as valuable and significant to me as cash money. So I am down to trade, to love, to share. And yeah, that's that.
Oh, well, we have plenty of time to, if anybody's have any questions for Amata or anything came up for you while she was sharing that you want to share.
I actually want to share something right after you did that. Like, I got very emotional, but like I felt scared, and then like the thought of like I'm the only one that hasn't like given birth or like had a child. I don't know why that came up, but like I don't want to. Like I am terrified of having something in my body. I don't know if that's like a trauma, like a past life trauma or something.
I think everyone's terrified before they go through it. No, you may have a more terrified. Yeah, like I see you're being terrified, but I just want to acknowledge that.
Like I didn't even like want to do like birth control that like stays in there, like something being in my body for like long periods of time. It's like really crazy though. But I love kids. Like I've been a nanny and I'm about to nanny. And my roommate just had a baby 2 weeks ago and I'm going to be his nanny. So it's not like a kid thing. It's something in my body.
But have you decided not to have children?
I don't.
How old are you?
But I know that
your daughter, like I'm seeing a in the collective, I'm seeing that like this next generation, I'm 47, so you're the next generation. You guys didn't come here for that. Like I have 6 children and I've told them I had enough for all of us. Don't feel like you have to bring children into this world. You came here on a mission and it's okay to not follow society's rules and get off track. And I feel a lot of people are making that decision. They came here for something and that's not it. And that's okay. It probably brought up something because you're the only one, right? Some kind of like, yeah, but
you can still honor your womb. Yes, and not have children. You can still honor that it's our creation space. Yeah, it's where we create from. Yeah, you can still honor that and choose not to have children, and that's okay.
Maybe something will change though. You know, maybe there is something that Amata can help you with the healing, and then maybe something will shift and you might feel like, oh, now I do want that. If they're feeling that.
All possibilities are possible.
Yeah. Something interesting too that one of my friends who had a baby last couple years ago, she said she had been taking birth control, and then when she stopped, and she didn't feel like she wanted to have children, and then when she stopped taking birth control, the feeling came back, because that's part of what it does, right? But it actually makes you the hormones, like it doesn't feel like you even want that.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
And it could be anything. It could be past lives,
Yeah.
parallel life. It could be that your mission doesn't include that. I mean,
Yeah.
it could literally be, there's so many
Generation.
And then timelines can shift and it can be.
Yeah.
something else.
You figured it all out.
Okay. Oh,
Well, it sounds like we needed that.
nice, precious.
I'm definitely looking forward to going deeper. I have to say, after my transition, I carry a lot of heaviness. I've had heaviness in my womb since puberty, which I started, and I have had people suggest that I might have endometriosis, and I'm pretty sure I do without actually having them go in there and look, right? And so I have just this constant dull ache and heaviness in my womb. And when you gave me that transmission and I was receiving it, I could feel it like lightening up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like there's just a little shift. And I feel like I can just, and when I got like when I sat down, what I received was like, that was the seed.
Yeah.
Like the seed has been planted and now the deeper work gets to come, right? So thank you.
I had endo, and I used to have a lot of pain since I was really young, my menstrual cycle. And then also when I had to go to the bathroom, I would feel pain all the way up my back. And yeah, it was traumatic, but over time, as I've been healing my womb, I feel like I healed it. So it's possible.
And there's an epidemic of that going on right now. I don't know if you know, but it is because all of the wombs, like Mother Earth's womb needs healing, and that goes across everyone. Like literally every single person needs womb healing. Like men even come from the womb, so they need womb healing too. They have trauma from in that traumatized womb. So it's
Right.
like
I saw that all the time, just from my experiences from when I was carrying him.
yes, and he carries that. Even though he doesn't have a womb per se, he still carries. And it's like a pattern going on right now. Like we were both getting the messages. We started getting the message at the same time. Like I was called to go to the ocean and heal her, and I heard that is the womb of the mother. Start there, because I was being called to heal the land, and they said go to the ocean first, heal the ocean, and then start on the wombs. They said that's where it has to all start, is the womb. And there has everybody. Sorry, go ahead.
There hasn't been one person that has been feeling so heavy and in turmoil, whatever, and when you jumped in the ocean and said, I don't feel better. Right? Like, you jump in the ocean and let her just take it all from you. And every time I do it, I feel better. I don't think there's been anyone who's been like, you shouldn't have done that. But yeah, I forget what else I was going to say. No.
I just have a question to maybe, it may not be appropriate to talk about, but I know this has been coming up with some other mom friends that we've been talking. We've noticed like how just the young kids are starting puberty so much earlier. And I'm just curious, do you have any insights on, the womb trauma and how that's impacting our future generations in the sense that they're now starting their cycles at like 8 or 9 years old?
That could be that could be something, but it could be also that they're a different generation, that they hold a different vibration too, that the stuff that stopped us from having it at 9 years old doesn't necessarily stop them. So I feel like it could go either way. but
Like they're evolving faster.
yeah, or things that touched us and hindered us, don't touch them and hinder them.
What about like the plastic? Do you feel like maybe they may not be as affected then by the plastic as
I
our generation has?
I feel like my kids aren't as affected by bad foods. And yeah, like the clothing, like even I think the skirt has like polyester or something in it, like that's what I was gonna say too, is all the poisons that have been, I think endometriosis has a lot to do with that, because even clothes like polyester and rayon and viscose and stuff like that have an effect on our hormones. So it's coming from all angles. Yeah, it's coming from all angles. And go ahead.
And the antibiotics and all the dairy, and that definitely.
Yeah, all the poisons from
earlier and starting that definitely.
Oh yeah, growth hormone and
yeah. And then we're feeding it to them from 1 year old.
Yeah.
But like she said, it comes with everything. But I do feel like they are, my son, he's a dragon, and like ever since he was born, like when I was pregnant, he told me he was from the planet Sirius and he came here to heal the world. And he thought it was crazy his entire life because I would tell him, like, you're Jesus. Like, now he's like seeing so much. He's only 22. He's seeing so much, he can't deny it now. And this boy heals like I can't even, if he gets a cut, like cuts himself open, by the next day, it's completely gone. You can't even tell it was there. And he's always been like that. And I feel like he's extreme, but I feel like all of the kids, it's human evolution. I feel like they can withstand all the poisons that we're being fed. Like they are reacting to it easier. I think they're getting rid of it easier.
Not that we don't want to limit them, of course, want to limit them.
Yeah. But I feel like it gets out of them.
Right.
Their vibration's higher.
And they transmute it.
Yeah, they transmute it easier than we do.
And our parents, we transmute stuff easier than our parents.
Yeah.
I mean, think about our parents and how they just stuck with this trauma within their bodies, and their backs always hurt, and this always hurts, and that always hurts, and you know, or the older people that just walk like this and can't move, you know, we transmute stuff a lot differently. And then we were meant to bring these other, well, some of us were meant to bring these other younger souls in, but our parents couldn't have brought them in, you know, these fresher, newer vibration, new generation of children. So fascinating. I'm just so glad that it's out good. And I love her. What's so crazy is that I found her at an estate sale, and she had this marble glued in her womb.
No.
Marble. And I was like, I pop the marble out and then I filled it with light. It's a chemical holder. It's so crazy to me. We think about that. It was me. What else could it be though? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a womb candle.
Yeah. The goddess. That.
Well, we still have a good amount of time left, so let's do another share around and talk about some of what we're working on in our businesses, and like what is a thing that you're trying to do right now in your business, and like if you need support in that or ideas or whatever, like what you got going on?
I'm trying to build an online course.
An online course?
Yes, trying. I have to sit in front of the computer for long periods of time though, so
You're doing it. You're doing it.
I'm doing it.
Another way that this, so we're kind of doing more of like a mastermind type of thing. So if somebody says something and you're like, oh, you know, I have a resource for you. A woman just messaged me on Facebook just a couple of days ago, and she was like, hey, if this isn't for you, just disregard this message, but are you interested in being a part of a free private Facebook group for supporting women in building online courses.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, actually. And so you should do that. I should. Thank you.
And the girl, there's a girl that came, were you done talking?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm working on. I mentioned everything else I'm working on. Working on.
This girl came to the last one and she does branding and stuff. And I think a lot of us need that.
Wait,
Francis.
yeah, a different person actually. And yeah, somebody found us through Instagram and she just randomly was like, I want to join the nurse. Yeah, and so she is, I don't know, she's in Nevada City, I think. And yeah, she is a branding person like that, but she wants to work specifically with spiritual entrepreneurs. And so she was like, because I guess she's been working with like people who are more established, who have more money to spend, and she's realizing that she wants to be accessible to people who are just starting out but don't have all the gym. So she's like, how can I be accessible to you? She was like, which I was like, that is so nice of her. She was like, how can I offer something to you that you'll be able to receive? So I thought that was really cool.
And my question was, a lot of the branding people focus a lot towards masculine things such as, you know, reaching out and going after things, you know, action, action, action. When I said I'm so feminine that I need something that works for me, is that something that you do? And she said, yes, I absolutely. She kind of veers towards that as well.
And like you were talking about earlier about how, like, I think we can all agree that the mother is being reborn, right? Like we're going back to the feminine in all things, because everything is like post every day and do and masculine, and we're like, what? Like we're in this like feminine flow where, like you say, you post when you get the inspiration to post,
yes,
and then it will reach the people it's supposed to reach,
right?
Because you can have 50,000 followers that aren't engaged, or you can have 200 that are buying your stuff and getting healings and working with you and are engaged, and that's way better than just numbers, right?
Yeah. Right, but it's also about taking action when you're inspired. Yeah, so many times I've been inspired and I've been like, oh no, I don't have, you know, my blotchiness or whatever. I don't make a lot of excuse.
You actually got to do action.
Right.
Yeah.
That's self-promotion blockage.
So
good subject.
And I started doing too is I try to post or share or create after a good meditation or self-care practice. So I try to schedule in that half an hour to an hour, so I go on a really good nice walk, you know, take some deep breaths, come home, maybe do a little stretching or qigong. I try to get myself really grounded and centered before I try to create. And I noticed if I don't do that, you know, I'm just more scattered. I get a computer, I'm distracted, I'm checking my email instead of doing Canva, you know, or, you know, like, I don't know, I find myself just all over the place.
It's just off.
Right, but I have to say, sometimes it's so hard.
And a lot of
it is, and you know, we're long, so it's like, what do I took this 20 years to build our dreams? So it's like grace and compassion of like, I gotta go pick up my son. I'm gonna get back to this, and then I think I'm gonna get back to it, and then I don't. 2 days have gone by, right?
a lot of the inspiration comes too through meditation.
Yes.
Get us folks.
I'm trying to journal more too. I'm trying to like, it's crazy because I have like my notes on my phone, and then I have like my other journal, and then I have a little notepad that I keep in my purse. And sometimes I'm just trying to keep track of it. I'm just trying to make sure that I try to write down everything, like every little insight or like every little thing that comes in. I'm trying to like jot it down. Even if I don't go back to it, just the fact of me writing it, because I'm a visual learner, just me writing it helps reinforce it. Right? You know, like you're declaring it, you're putting it down, like then I'm more likely to actually come back to it and like really build on that creativity.
That's what we all ADHD then.
I started taking mushroom pills, like I get them on and the last ones I got, they're like, or they say they're the energy ones. And I feel so much more focused and like good through the day, because I was taking the brain ones and I mean, they worked. Like I felt like I wasn't starting 10 projects and then I would be like, I'm tired, you know, now the house is like, I mean, yeah, the ADD is real, especially like this before my last market, getting all of my stuff together. My roommate was so nice and she loves spreadsheets. And so she was like, let's make a spreadsheet of all the stuff that you have and like how much you bought it, what's available and what you're selling it for, and you can mark it and then you can see your earnings and stuff. And I was like, okay. And doing all that was so overwhelming. It took me like 10 days to get everything together. And this time around, I feel better about it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
these are actually awful. Yeah, I know because I'm not, my boyfriend and her are both like in the data engineering world, so they can help me, guide me, and I'm just like, I just want to do it when I feel like it's good for me. I didn't take it down.
Like now that you have that as because you had to get it all done, you know,
Yeah,
but now that
totally.
there's some things or add more things, it'll be easier to.
I know. Well, I tried looking at it the other day, and now she has a baby. I didn't want to ask her for help, but I was like, no, I don't like it. I was like, I don't know if I can use it. I don't know. I need to figure out.
We all need a Virgo that's finished.
My sister's a Virgo, yeah, and she's already good at that.
No,
I'm a Pisces.
I'm a Pisces.
Yeah.
I love spreadsheets. All my spreadsheets. And I color code them and everything. My phone, my spreadsheets are so pretty.
So I'm gonna have a cat moon. Not cat moon, cat rising. So I need to plan and I need to organize. I know my Pisces are trying to play.
Yeah. And then she just tossed the pen out the window.
I'm playing too often somewhere. I don't know where.
I'm Aquarius.
I found that I've been listening to my body more. Me and her discovered that, well, I was talking to her because we get a lot of inspiration and we jump a lot of timelines when we're talking together. But since I have so much water in my chart, I feel like I'm connected to the water element, and my gift is liquid light pretty much. I channel in the water. My thing's the water. So I got into the water. And I have a hard time taking a bath because the poison, I try to get past the whole thing, you know, but if I'm blessing and filling the water, you know, like clearing it out, then it's fine, you know, but I try to get past the mental block of the water.
Wait, you don't have a filter on your shower head?
I need to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt. Fill up the bathtub with the shower head.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm just filling up with the shower head. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer.
Okay.
Just use 3 hot water starts
better. I've been meaning to get one for a long time, but I just, you know.
I mean, still gloves and still cleanse, of course.
Right.
You can only filter so much.
And then I feel like with the apple cider vinegar and all the salts and stuff that I put in there, it draws out anyways. Nothing's going in, you know. So
Just put oil all over yourself.
yeah. So, but channel in the water, and I just need to do it. Or go to the river. I'm manifesting a home on the river because that is, I see it. I feel like it's coming.
I just created my Shopify because my Kajabi doesn't have a store. And so I had to then do a whole other website on Shopify and figure that whole thing out. And so it was really intimidating, but I said, okay. But then I figured it out and then even got everything weighed and then broke down each product and what it cost me because there's like a spot for that and what I'm making on each product. And I'm like, oh, sure, okay. You know, getting organized. It feels really good, but I don't do it very often.
Where else do you sell your products?
So, I sell them at Zen.
The wheat shop down.
Zen right here.
Oh.
On the corner. Yeah.
There's
They
a,
have always in Eureka.
yeah.
And it's so funny because I have a Zen oil, it's exactly the same color, that green, so that was not sure.
Is your ornament there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. These ornaments in like years.
Okay.
Set up.
I wanna see what you're stuffing.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
So I just sell, wholesale, at Zen, it's the only place because she buys it from me and wholesale is half.
Yeah.
And so it's not what I'm after,
Right.
it's like definitely not what I'm doing. And then I do consignment at Fieldbrook Market because I live in Fieldbrook and so I support the community. And that's it. And so the plan, what I've created the whole thing for is for the courses.
Okay.
And it's a teacher training program, so training people to be practitioners in this process, to be teachers, not only practitioners, but to teach people how to be practitioners. And so the idea is to use the products and also teach people how to make the products so they can make their own quantum medicine, or there's a lot of people that don't want to do that and will use mine incorporated into their practice.
Like spiritual.
I need to know more.
That sounds good.
I want to get some of that ornament.
What is ornament? Yeah, what is ornament?
So super conductive ionic minerals and Himalayan salt. They're it's naturally occurring on the planet.
Okay.
Everywhere with high concentrations in the Dead Sea salt, ancient salt mines and volcanic soils, and hot springs, in the morning dew. It's in a lot of products, or it's in a lot of things naturally.
Okay.
Grapeseed oil has a high concentration
Okay.
of ornaments, and so I use the grapeseed oil and Himalayan salt to do an oil base.
So what is it, a skincare product or is it something you take into?
oil.
Oh,
And I use it as a carrier oil.
okay.
It's like a 1-to-1. And then when you use the ornaments with intention, so the superconductive ionic minerals, it's the same spectrum that we have in our nervous system and in our DNA, and the electricity that is like communicating, through our nervous system and through our cells and stuff. It's identical, and so it's consciousness, it's light, and so when we use it with intention, we're programming it, and it knows what to do, and it knows where to go, and it really accentuates whatever healing or whatever intention that you're working with.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Like the ADHD brain and
Oh,
connecting
absolutely.
and-
Yeah, and so the my mentor, the original formulator of these blends, she created this for her son who has ADHD, and like 40 years ago. And I'm still working with her, and so now we're on these other projects, and she's really into tapping stuff, and she's working with the school system down in Long Beach.
Oh, wow.
And so we're working on these projects of how to get a hold of the kid and to train the kid and how to reprogram themselves and how to connect and how to like have that control over, their own triggers and their own patterns that they accumulated that we all have. Right. And
I think that's like the best is to get kids and start them, so you're not building all these layers and then you get in your 30s and you're like a monster.
right. And then that's
Right,
the
it's not a
idea behind my course, Heaven on Earth Institute. And it's a teacher training program because we're all examples. We're all teachers.
Do you have a card?
Yeah. Yeah, I know I'm a hard, and so I'm like all stuck. So like, where are we at? What are we doing? Now I have to figure out how to put my Shopify in my Kajabi. So, so I'm doing that, and then what is it called? Copywriting, right? So it's like content. right? So I have all my old content that I just put into the store and stuff. And it's like, well, gosh, that's old, and I don't like it. So now I'm like rewriting things. So like at this moment, but then I got sidetracked on a tangent and got really inspired to make this cream. And I don't know if you guys can smell or see, but I have like it's all over. Like, so now I'm making new products. So now I need new labels. I'm working on a new description, and so
That's that inspired action.
yeah, it's inspired action. It feels really good. But I would like to start my course, the first program, the online course. I realized because I sat in front of the computer and building an online course and just sitting there and then like coming up with content, but it's ridiculous compared to like what's inside me. So I'm like picturing someone like going through the course, just going, you know, and so I really need to be in front of people. So the idea is definitely online, so we have access, right? So I could be on the podcast or whatever, and anyone all over could access the work. So what I'm creating and what I'd like to market for, make a flyer for, or network, like, right? And this is like my next figuring out, like really what I need to do, like for this summer, and also with this space, and figure out how to utilize this space for what I'm up to next. So the course, I'm looking for a beta group, for a group, at least 2 people. You know, people in the group live, and then have a tandem group online. And so running both of these as beta groups at the same time. And then so hold the space with my outline of what like the days, you know, what the first session will be, have the outline and do it with the live group and have a recording happening at the same time. And then taking that recording and doing the editing work, and then taking the content that we create from that live group and then transfer it to the online group, and then do a Zoom and somehow work these 2 together and bounce them off each other to build. Yeah, to build it.
It reminded me when I did my yoga teacher training during COVID.
Oh,
and so part of it we had in person, but then we went on Zoom, and then if people felt comfortable, they would do it in person. So it just reminded me of that, of like, we had it going and we could watch it later, and we had certain things that we needed to do, and we had our, you know, our book and what we were, you know, we had to go through 200 hours of training to be certified. And so, you know,
that's what I'm thinking.
Like people are doing it. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it's not good for me to sit there and try to like creating the course, like in my head onto the screen, like it's not translating.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I just share about my like inner guidance system, and like, I mean, I have a full-on relationship with my spirit guides now, and I talk to them every day, and they, you know, that, and also my higher self, you know, but 2 things, like that relationship is so important in meditation, and like meditating, connecting, and asking, like literally I would be like, what am I supposed to focus on now? Like, what's my next step? You know, and then during my meditation, I would get some sort of inspiration, some sort of message, you know, and then like, that's one way that I have been helped to navigate, knowing where to go and what to do, because there's so many things, you know? And then the other way is just like that, like feeling, like, what does it feel like to do, like, does that feel good to like work on that? No, okay, don't do that. Like, you know, what feels good? Like, oh, this feels better. Like, let's go there, you know. If you don't meditate or have that relationship, you can use your like the feeling of like emotions, you know, because that's like our navigation system. I see that we have is like, yeah, just feel really good, do that, do that, no, let's do something else. So
yeah, definitely.
And I think too, like the videoing your life so that later you can put all those together and that can be the course. Because I know, like you're saying, I need video. Like I need to hear it and see it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So like it's really stuff, it's not sticking. And that way you have a video course that you can just sell forever. Like
because
you've already done it, it's done, and now it's just making its own money. Yeah.
And while we're working on other things.
Exactly.
Because it's like, when we were taking courses like 20, 10, 20, 15 years ago, and all like certifications and all the things that we've all been through, and it's like, the world has changed so much. I've changed so much. I've learned that. Yeah. And we learn differently. Yeah. And we have to learn these micros, like take it, and we have the ability now to learn so much by osmosis and by, it's like my lifetime, like work, like I will be like handing off, to this crystal, like being, 20-year-old is just gonna be like, pick up and then boom, like just right.
Another thought for you. Have you done Kajabi? How do you say that word? Kajabi. Have you done a Kajabi course? Because maybe if you did one, then you could, get some ideas.
Yes, I have seen, and I've had courses and experiences.
Oh, nice.
Kajabi, and I work mine's way different.
Yeah.
Because like, they're so neat, and and I just have so much.
Yeah. I recently did I don't know, course doesn't feel like the right word. It's a program, it's a transformational experience that I have created to share with people, women. And so I did a similar thing that you're describing, where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna like figure it out, and it's just like taking it one step at a time and letting it like unfold. And Tilly was actually part of that first group, but it was very small. I had 3 friends, well, one person that I didn't really, not a friend of mine, somebody that I knew through somebody else. Anyway, it was like, it was similar to what you're describing. And so I'm just trying to be here for you to show it like a bit. Like,
thank you. Yeah, we're gonna get a small group together, people into it and committed.
Yeah. And like, it'll all happen. Just, you might not be able to see it right now, but
Right on, thank you. And then, so you were saying earlier about marketing and like feminine, masculine, and all that. Like I resonate with all of that too. Like I'm not on any social media, and I don't necessarily want to be.
Yeah,
I want to build this for the new paradigm.
Yeah.
Like there's like the unified social media. Like, I don't know if you guys know Jason Strickland, like it's a free social media platform and all this, and I'm on that. I haven't plugged into it yet, but that's like, I want to be on uncensored platforms.
Yeah.
I want to talk about whatever I want to talk about, and I don't necessarily
It's very alternative to social media, to be honest. That's why I love my friends.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
cool.
It's but what another thing like that I'm realizing recently is like the a way to get around self-promotion actually is to have other people promote you. So partnership that you can have, making those connections, people being stoked about your work, and like, I'm not sure what you're doing because that's amazing,
And I do feel like word of mouth is really the best marketing.
Well, with social media is what I was talking about, because not being on social media, you don't have to be, because you find somebody who is that wants to share what you're doing.
Yeah.
And maybe you have some sort of, there's different ways to do those types of promotions. Like if it's not just a genuine friend who's like, I want to share your stuff and just because I want to support you, but like having, or
Well, like today I went to the juice shop in Eureka and I got my juice and I was so happy about it. I posted about it and they reposted it. I noticed, but like, I didn't, no one asked me to. I did it because I love their juice. The girl who owns it. Oh, she's so cute. Yeah. I'm so happy there's finally a juice bar here. Third or something? Yeah, it's sweet green.
Gotta start wrapping up soon because I could literally talk all day night.
I know, I need to bring this up.
All of our brains.
I will say this because you guys have come to my house before, but Clarice is going to be gone for 2 weeks, so there's no baby and then no, I'll be all alone because I don't work, and we could do a circle.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, I've been just kind of ending the meetings really abruptly because we're always but I really want to have like more closure to the end of our circles, and so I thought it'd be nice. I used to pull cards at the end of the circles that I would leave, and so this is a nice way to pull a card, especially with the intention of something that we all need to hear, like wherever we're at on our entrepreneurial path. Let this be some message that we all need to hear right now. So you can close your eyes with me if you want to, but it's not necessary. Authentic truth.
Yes.
That's what we post, our authentic.
Yes.
That's how we felt. Through our voice.
Oh, yeah. Voice and voice.
Yeah, this stuff is really cool.
Is it the Campbell? This is what's her name?
I just always go to Authentic Truth, number 4, page 35. Numbers.
That's I was gonna write my number on there and you said we didn't have to, and all I wrote was a 4. On my thing with my name and the card.
Wow. Discover your truth and let others find theirs. The truth will set you free, so long as you recognize there is more than one truth and that the answers you seek exist beyond the beliefs you hold now. There are many truths in this world. You don't have to believe them all, just focus on what resonates with you. If you must convince yourself of your beliefs, they are not your truth. Your truth will always fulfill and satisfy. It is unconditional, meaning conditions don't have to change for you to live and feel your truth. There is no right or wrong, but there is cause and effect or action and reaction. Master yourself, not someone else's processes. When you change your beliefs, your life changes to match it. To do this, you must be aware of how you feel and practice focusing on what makes your heart sing, not shrink. When you align with your truth, you will flow, feel excited, and believe an authentic life is possible. If it is not your truth, you will resist, find it hard to commit, and feel indecisive. Wow.
Really awesome.
Cool. Well, there's some more information here with a meditation and reflection and journal if you want to look at that one.
Yeah, we'll take it all.
Happy full moon on the Saturday.
Yeah. Scorpio full moon.
Are you guys still doing the circle?
Is it?
Oh, wait, no, it's Sag, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but we transitioned into Sag. I'm loving the Scorpio.